Today we have Dr. Arafat, who is a leading thought leader in the state of procurement. I met him in Dubai a few months ago and really inspired by the work he's doing and the consultancy project he has started. I'm also into his panel as a supply chain expert. He's an enormous experience in managing, stakeholders, managing C-levels in procurement, managing teams, more importantly, digitalization and technology implementation in supply chain. So I asked Dr. Arfat if he'd be kind enough to come in and give a talk for our community. And he was, very kind of basically give his time because it's very difficult to get a time from people like Dr. Arfat because they are very, very busy. So what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna put everybody on mute, gonna give it to Dr. Arfat. He will talk about anything between 20 to 30 minutes, whatever the presentation or content he's prepared, or he would just basically speak of it top of his head. We'll figure it out right now because I don't know as well. And then we will open to Q&A, and that will be the opportunity you will have, that you will ask him any questions about his career, about his journey, about the content or presentation he's going to do today. So without any further ado, I'll just hand over to Dr. Arfat. And sir, you'll take it from here with your introduction, of course.
Thank you, Dr. Mudassir. Thank you. It was a pleasure even meeting you, Dr. Mudassir, 1 month or 2 months back. It was my pleasure. I mean, to meet someone with your knowledge and with your experience in the market. First, hi everyone. My name is Arafat El Mourad. I'm an author, so the author of Innovation in Procurement in UAE Banking Sector, a conventional and Islamic book. I have a doctorate in business, and I had 2 master in project management, technology project management, and a master of applied business research. I started my journey in technology and IT. I worked in IT for 15 years, so I used to be head of IT for almost more than 8 years as head of IT of technology. Then I moved to procurement, and I found my passion in procurement. It was amazing journey since now 2011. I've been in procurement, so it's almost 12 years. And I have I met a lot or many people that they have different vision, different mission in procurement, and even we met people that we learned from them, even from the challenges or the way they manage their stakeholder, the way they prioritize or they strategize their procurement. As per many of my colleague, procurement is still considered as the showstopper for many organizations. And I don't blame my stakeholder. I don't blame any stakeholders to see procurement as a showstopper because of us, because of the way we deal with them, because about the way we communicate to them. Procurement always work in silos. Procurement always work in isolation. Procurement always think about 2 things: control and cost reduction. And this is the way that we need to change it. We need to change to become more stakeholder oriented, how we can work with our stakeholder to become more centric, more focused on stakeholder needs and company needs, not only about our policy and procedures. And I would really urge everyone to look at their policy every 6 months and their processes, because this is the main pillar. Today, Dr. Mudassir, I do not have any presentation. I'm gonna talk about strategy in procurement. I'm gonna talk about procurement as a whole, how we can strategize and become more as really a stakeholder management, as really a driven procurement that drive core value. Many people ask me, what do you mean by drive core value? Guys, today we know procurement, not only procurement, we know our internal stakeholders, we know the client of our organization, and we know our internal stakeholder and suppliers. So we know everyone. We are the people, the right people to bring solution. We do not wait for our stakeholder to come and tell us, I need X or Y or Z, I need this solution or I need the other solution. We know the market, we understand it. And we are the only people, by the way, they have almost all the speciality within the procurement. So if we talk about, for example, procurement, you will find the people that manage an IT category, they have the technology background. The people that manage facility management and construction, they have engineering background or mechanical background. Marketing, they have marketing background. So we speak the language. We understand exactly what our stakeholder needs. So today, to build a strategy, you need to understand, you need to speak the language, and you need to be trusted. To be trusted, you need to speak the language. If you do not speak the language, you will never be able to be trusted by your stakeholder or to deliver the core value that we are talking about. Therefore, so our work as procurement, we need to change it, not only focus on control. Because I ask many people, they say, no, we are a control function. Yes, and yes, we are a control function. However, we have another function that we need to look at. We have to be flexible. We have to ensure there is quality in place. We have to be more agile. Agile procurement or a proactive procurement. We have to understand the demand of stakeholder. We have to understand our stakeholder needs. It's not about only control in place. Cost reduction, instead of saying cost reduction, call it cost optimization, which is focused on different areas that focus on quality, it focuses on flexibility, it focuses on speed and price, not only the cost reduction itself. So these are the things that we need to look at it from procurement perspective in order to lift ourselves from being in the mid-management since inception to the top management, or maybe even to the board of directors. Today, you do not find in the whole region any of the procurement leaders in the C-level. All is procurement reporting to CFO or CO, always in any organization within the region, despite we are really being recognized after the COVID-19, after 2020, as procurement that they delivered the best value for their organization. But still, procurement went back to become more a reactive procurement than being proactive or agile procurement. So today, if you plan to if you are planning to fail, you plan to fail. So sorry, procurement, you have the planning, the most important in any organization. So first, you have to understand your stakeholder. Second, you have to understand your team, your procurement team, their knowledge, their experience within procurement. And third, your supplier. Then you can develop your plan. How you develop your plan or your strategy? You develop your plan by understanding all the stakeholder, by understanding your business need, and then you can create your plan. Your plan, you can create it within procurement, or you can add to it. For example, you have ISO 2022000, ISO 44000 for collaboration, and you have CIPS themselves, Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply. They have many tools that can help in creating your strategy or your plan for procurement. Also, what we can do, you can look at different aspects, like, for example, European Qualification for Quality Management, EFQM. It's one of the best tools to look at every single aspect of business. You have the business-driven technology, or business-driven and customer-driven. Then you have the strategy, you have the, what they call it, the leadership, you have the processes and policies. So you look at every single aspect, and then you have the deliverables, business or customer. So this is the way how we can incorporate it in our plan. You cannot work without plan, because if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. It's very simple. So you need to plan properly. Without planning, you have nothing. And you have the short plan and long plan. Short plan, so you know exactly today I can create some tools that can help me to deliver the value within 3 months, 6 months. And you have the long plan, which is 1 year or 3 years or 5 years. So this is the long plan, and it's amendable. Please, guys, don't stick to something that you create today and say, no, I cannot change it. No, you can change it. You can amend it. Like policy, like procedures, like your processes, everything can be changed, can be amended. Don't look at it from one aspect that, oh, we created the policy last year, so it means the perfect for today. No, it's not. Whatever happened last year, for example, whatever you use in pandemic, you cannot use it today. It's completely different. So you need to amend your policy. You need to amend your processes. You need to be more agile. Whatever you develop, I know many organizations develop a process and policy 10 years back and they didn't change it. And they blame system. They change system 2-3 times, which is not acceptable. It's not the system. Technology is enabler. Don't look at the technology as something that will really change the world. No, technology will not change the world. Technology is enabler. You have the pyramid, which is the technology, people, and governance, which is policy and process and procedures. So the 3 things, you need to amend it all the time. You need to have the right people. If you don't have the right people, even if you have the best system in place and the best policy in place and processes, it will not work, because you need people to communicate. Communication and listening to our stakeholder is so important. And even in planning, even in delivering the best value for them. So we need to look at everything from different aspects of life. We have to look at it from not a procurement only, from leadership perspective, that we call it innovation in procurement or transformational procurement. How we can transform, how we can implement a change management within the organization. And we can do that. We have the tools, we have the power if you have the right knowledge. So knowledge will help us do that. If we have the right data in place, many organizations do not have even data. They do not know how much we spend per category. Even if they have per category, they do not have per subcategory. So this it leads to many what they call it leads to disconnection within the stakeholders and within the procurement. Stakeholder, again, as I mentioned, stakeholder is not only the internal one. Its supplier is connect stakeholder. Government, any change in law, it's another stakeholder, which we call external stakeholder. So we have to look at it from different aspects of life. Today, planning is not about only collecting demand, not about only policy, not about only processes. It's about understanding every single aspect of business within the organization. So this is how we work in procurement. This is how we should work in procurement in order to deliver the best value for our organization. Again, organization, it means stakeholder, internal and external. And guys, always I hear my colleagues talking about supplier, that supplier is changeable. Let's change supplier. Always blamed. I'll tell you, I've been working in procurement for now 12 years, 13 years in procurement. And 90% of the mistake happen in delivering any project is internal, not external. 90%, 10% I can blame supplier, but 90% is internal, not external. So it means within procurement or within the stakeholder, internal stakeholder of procurement. And always they blame supplier because for them is supplier is a showstopper or the procurement. So the scapegoat, let's go to procurement. Procurement is a scapegoat, or we go to supplier. Oh, supplier is a scapegoat. So this is a way how we can work it out. We need really to create a good relationship with our suppliers and good relationship with our internal stakeholder. I prefer to call stakeholder, not suppliers, because supplier is a partner, is a stakeholder, connect stakeholders. So this is how we need to plan end-to-end procurement processes. Demand, you need to understand the demand of procurement. We all know that all the budget is reflected on December or January in UAE, for example. So you have the budget in place. You know exactly what your stakeholder needs. So why you don't plan ahead of time what you need to deliver within the year? So you can 80% of the deliverable, you will know about it prior to the date of execution. You don't need to wait for a stakeholder to tell you, okay, we need this project as of yesterday. We have to rush, we have to go for single source, or we have to go for this supplier or X supplier. So you can collect the demand ahead of time. So you have today, January, I believe you can collect all your demand. You have 20%, which we call it ad hoc, which is not really a big project. You might have one project, that big project that is not what wasn't budgeted within the year, but not more than that. But everything else can be planned ahead of time, can be delivered ahead of time. And this is what create procurement, or what's the value that procurement can add to the organization and stakeholder. That's how procurement then become more value added or more proactive. For example, I'll tell a story about my previous job. I worked for a bank in 2011, 2012. And I brought a solution called a branch in a box. Even I published my book about a branch in a box. Branch in a box, it means you will have the ATM machine, like the ATM machine, that has all the function of the branch. So it means you can have credit card printing, debit card, checkbook. You will have the bank account opening through the machine. So this is a solution I brought myself. I'm the one who even created the scope with our retail banking. I didn't wait for retail banking to tell me what to do. I added another things for the ATM. I said, I know I run a lot. I used to do a lot of exercises, and I run on Corniche, and I always miss to carry with me the card. So I said, why we don't create some verification? So your thumb is your verification instead of having credit card. And then we implemented some verification on all our ATM and CCDM machines in UAE. So your thumb, you don't need a credit card or debit card. You have your thumb and your PIN code. That's it. And then you can withdraw money or do whatever you want on the ATM machine. So what I'm saying, you can do it yourself. You don't wait for others to tell you what to do. You know, you are a customer of a bank. So I'm a customer of a bank. I know exactly the pain that I have today in mobile banking, internet banking, or ATM machine or branches. Guys, I worked for a bank for now almost 11 years working in banking sector, and I've never went to the branch except for fit out, or when we finish the fit out, just for the opening of the branch. They call me in, but I've never went even to withdraw money. Even if I want to withdraw 100 or 200,000, I call the sports center and I tell them, this is the ATM machine. I'm at X branch. I need to withdraw 200,000 dirhams, and they allow me to withdraw this money. So what I'm saying, I mean, you can do a lot of things from procurement perspective, and you can show the value that procurement can drive within the organization, within the company, instead of waiting for stakeholder to tell you what to do and how to do things. I'm not telling you to do everything yourself, but if you have the right team, yes, you can do it. If you work closely with stakeholder, if you understand what exactly stakeholder needs and what organization needs, if you link your strategy, your overall strategy to organization strategy, you will find exactly, you will know exactly what you need to deliver within this year or next year or the year after. Guys, you cannot create a strategy isolated or disconnected from the overall organization strategy. You cannot work in isolation. This is not acceptable. You cannot say, I have a plan. You don't have a plan if it's not connected to overall organization strategy or stakeholder strategy or plan. You need to link it. Even your objective, your yearly objective, it was cascaded down from the CEO to us. This is the way how we build it. So, or the objective of CEO, it was driven by procurement. So this is how we work in procurement. This is the way how we need to work. This is the strategy we need to build in place, the planning, the roadmap. Many people, they said, I asked, sorry, Dr. Mudassir, I have many people, they told me, I have a plan, I have a strategy. I say, show me the strategy or plan that you have. They show me a roadmap. Roadmap is not strategy. It's not a plan. Roadmap is just a roadmap. It tells you what you need to deliver, but how to deliver, you don't have it. So you need to know the how to deliver. So when you build a strategy, you need to build a strategy that tells you how to deliver and the roadmap when you need to deliver it. So this is what we need to do in procurement. This is how procurement should lead and works. We cannot, again, work in isolation, guys. I see it till today, we are still working in isolation. How procurement still till today, and they blame stakeholder or they blame top management why they are not in the C-suite. Because we are not showing value. To be in C-suite, you need to show value. HR now in C-suite. If we look at finance, they are there. Marketing are there today, except procurement. Despite procurement deliver value for all stakeholders and they know every single business within the organization, but we are not showing the value. So we need to work closely with stakeholder. We need to work closely with strategy within the organization, and we need to build our strategy and plan, which is connected to the overall organization strategy. We need to build objective as per the CEO objective, cascaded down to every single member within procurement. And then at this point, then you can deliver really the right value. At this point, then they will see the recognition, or they will recognize procurement. They will see the value of procurement that delivering to the organization and to the stakeholders. Today, you need someone to market your place, market procurement. To market procurement, you need stakeholder to talk on your behalf. I always have someone that speak on the C-suite or in the C-level that procurement delivered this, procurement without even asking them, they have done this and that. They are our really that strategic partner. So this is the way how they consider you from procurement, from stakeholder perspective. You need to build that connection with them. I meet stakeholder, guys. You have to plan how to meet your stakeholder. I meet C-level almost once a month because they do not have time. So I have once a month, I go to our stakeholder, tell me how I can help you. Tell me how I can deliver best value for you. Tell me how I can improve myself. Tell me if I need to change the process or the policy. Tell me what else can be done. Many people, they say, no, you do not need. Many people, they said, no, let's have more, for example, change in policy. We want to have, for example, fintech companies. Why I need to go through the procurement process? And they are right. Why I need to have a fintech company that they're going to do a POC, proof of concept, to do a tender. It doesn't work that way. So we excluded from the policy up to 1 million dirhams. And we help our stakeholder with that. We are the people who change the policy, and we help them with that. So again, you have to plan everything with your stakeholder. You have to speak, you have to talk and communicate with them. It's not about reporting. You report what procurement they've done, they save money. It doesn't matter for them. Save money with being flexible, save money with being speed or reducing the turnaround time. This is what they care about. They do not care if you save 1 million or 100 million. They will tell you we lost 100 million because of your delays in delivering the project. We're supposed to deliver this project within 3 months. You delivered within a year. I know many projects that it takes even 2 years, especially in technology, for the implementation. Until today, they are still facing these challenges and problem. And guys, 80% is not procurement problem, because we know we have tendering process 2 to 3 weeks. We have the financial evaluation maximum 2 to 3 weeks, but you have the technical evaluation which take ages, and you have the scope that built by our stakeholder that sometimes is not up to the standard. And that's why we need the knowledge in procurement to look at every single aspect of this business and see if there is a scope, for example, up to the standard, or it's reflected only for one company or one organization, and how we can really eliminate the biasness and favorism within procurement. Procurement, again, when I say within procurement, it doesn't mean procurement, it means stakeholder. As percepts that last year or 2022 bribery worldwide in procurement, it's almost $5.2 trillion. And I know 90% is not procurement, it's stakeholders, because they have the big portion, which is 60 to 70% of technical evaluation within the stakeholder, not procurement. So you want to put control. Where is the control that we are putting today? Today, we do not have any control. We say we have control. We look at the financial. We have 3 proposals. It doesn't work that way. They can disqualify the 2 people, the 2 supplier, and say only one supplier can deliver this project. They can tell you whatever they want, and you cannot debate it if you do not have the knowledge. That's why procurement, they should have the knowledge. They should discuss, not debate only.
So, Dr.
So this is the way how we should work.
Yeah, I think great point. I think you've summarized so many important aspects of strategic procurement. And as a leader, with the examples you mentioned, you know, the part managing stakeholders, considering suppliers as your stakeholders, you know, we mentioned the processes and policies and why we have to be more agile, changing our policies, and technology is enabler. I mean, such a great points, a few of them top of my head, really. But the reason I interrupted your great lecture is we're getting some fantastic questions here, right? So I thought that's the whole point, right? Because the whole point here is to interact with people like you and, you know, ask the questions directly. So rather than me reading it out, so we got questions from Salman, we got questions from Tariq, we got a question from a few other people as well. So I'm going to start with Tariq. I think you mentioned some good points, you have some good questions as well. So Tariq, why don't you unmute yourself and ask your questions directly? Maybe you want to show your face as well.
Just Dr. Mudassir, I prefer even interactive session.
Yes.
So please, anyone, if you want to speak, just unmute yourself and talk and ask a question.
Yes. Hi, Tariq. Thanks for great questions. I think you have some really good points. So maybe you can ask one by one, and then we move to Salman.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Tariq. So thank you indeed. This is really an awesome interaction. As you can see, like I pointed a couple of these things, and truly, you know, what has been stated in here are the, you know, like great challenges that many of us are facing. So I'm gonna quickly start with, obviously, that has been mentioned indeed that we speak as the language of our stakeholders. However, what I mentioned in here, that management isn't really understanding this as a value, or maybe it's not really a priority to them. So they do not invest in procurement resources. They don't really strategize on this. I'm looking on for the IT procurement, and I know this from my examples. I know this from many other examples. So what will be from your perspective, and as you said, being part of the IT procurement, some initial steps really to get this as actual results in the next couple of months to see this, especially as you said, that technology is the enabler.
Okay, you are 100% right. You will face a lot of challenges with stakeholders, a lot of challenges, especially with the top management, because till today, they do not see the value. And that's what we have mentioned, Tariq, because we as a procurement, we are not showing that value. We are showing the value only by being a control freak department or a cost reduction. Today, if you show the value, if you show that procurement really understand technology and they can add value, you will receive the support. I had the support from the previous organization. Even I wasn't new in procurement. I had the support from the top management. I was meeting the CEO of the organization every other week. And no one could believe it that myself and Strategy, the only 2 people that can meet the CEO every other week. So we had the whole support from the CEO because they've seen the value within procurement. So today we need to really show the value that procurement can bring to the organization, not only by, taking the stakeholder requirement, tender it, and then deliver it back to them and say, do the technical evaluation, then you do the financial evaluation, then you say why you are going with X, Y, or Z, or debate it. Today, no, you have to show the value that procurement can bring within even the solution itself and within the scope. And I agree with you. Many of the organization today, they do not see any value in procurement. They put procurement in place just for the regulatory requirement or internal audit requirement. And for the government, it's governmental requirement that we need to have a procurement in place in order to receive some certification or to be ranked properly within the government sector or the private sector. But yes,
Sorry,
you do not see the value. Yes.
Can I just add? So what you just mentioned, obviously, in our case, we have crossed this. We are really beyond that. We are just doing a coordination role. In our organization, we have established this. So I'm going to use two examples to explain this. Obviously, the scope of work which comes to you by purchase requisition initial stage and the technical report. We have shown the value that we review the scope of work, we review the technical report that actually will imply. One example is that we're going to limit number of qualification questions received on the scope of work that probably sometimes end up with the 30 clarification questions. So we have shown this value. In a technical report, we challenge the business, and probably this is one of the reasons where we feel like, okay, there is a piece of pushback from their side where we challenge the technical report on the sole source, on the biasness of the scoring and so on. We look at it from different perspectives. So we have the value. However, to some extent, we don't have the support from the management to say, hey guys, in a commercial, I am expecting much more better cost reduction. And at the same time, I am actually agreeing to your technical, capabilities, aspects of the vendor, of the solution, etc. So how do you look at that way?
Tarek, how's your relation with the CIO?
It's good, actually. It's good. I mean,
do you go for a coffee with him? Do you go for a coffee with him?
It's a busy time.
Okay. Tarek, let me tell you something. To break the bridges, to break this connection between you, because you need the CIO to speak on your behalf. Top management will not see the value unless the CIO speak on your behalf. What I've done, I have done many meetings today, for example, in coffee shop, that with the CIO, instead of having the meeting, I have the monthly meeting. It's already scheduled. I have it for 3 years, for example, at SCMDOJO. So I have the CIO meeting every month, once a month with the CIO. So instead of having it in the office, I make it in coffee shop, because it breaks many of this connection, or you don't speak only about the work, you speak even about life, about personal life, which will create intimacy between you and your stakeholders. Try to do that and see that the added value from, it's not about only, by the way, speaking the language. Communication and listening is so important, and not only about work, it's about life. So even that will help a lot. So try to do that. Many of our organizations, they have offices, they have a coffee shop within the organization, or they have coffee shop down their building. Try to use it and see the value, and schedule a meeting, monthly meeting. I know everybody will say we are busy. Schedule a meeting, confirm it with their secretary or with their PA, and create a meeting, monthly meeting, minimum monthly, especially with the CIO. Since you are handling the IT department, try it with the CIO, minimum once a month. And with his direct reportees every other week. So you have head of application, head of infrastructure, head of security,
cloud and so on. Yeah,
yes,
we do
exactly. So try this, but no, keep it monthly. So try to keep it monthly and make it in a coffee shop. Make it more in a way that it's friendly meeting,
informal,
not only
informal
official meeting. Yes.
Right. So, I mean, great discussion, great advice, Dr. Arafat, and I must say, Tariq, fantastic question. So we could probably come back to remaining of your points later if we have time, but I want to give opportunity to other folks, just to chip in. I think we have questions and points from Anurag, and we have Salman. So Salman, why don't you go first? Salman Ahmed Khan. And keep
Thank you, Dr. Mudassir.
And keep it short. I know you have a tendency of talking long as well, like Dr. Arafat. Keep it short.
Yeah. Dr. Arafat, thank you for having a good webinar. I just have only one question with you, that what is the most important KPI for you in terms of procurement?
Like KPIs. You mean my objective for per year? What exactly I need to deliver, right?
Yes.
Okay. Today, as I mentioned earlier, I link my objective, my KPIs or my objective to the overall organization objective. I had the CEO objective cascaded to C-level. Then I have the C-level cascaded to us. And from that, I create my objective and my team objective. Everyone with their, again, their qualification and their position. So everyone has different what they call objective and KPIs and measurable KPIs. You have quantitative and qualitative one that you can measure it. But everything that you do depends on the overall organization objective and strategy. And everything, all objectives should be linked to strategy, and strategy should be aligned with overall organization strategy. So I cannot give you one objective today, because whatever it is I will give you today, it might not work tomorrow. So it depends on your organization, not on my organization. Everyone will tell you three things. I want cost reduction, I want speed, reduce your turnaround time, and I want self-service or automation. For me, and the most important is automation and self-service. I can automate today more than 80% to become a self-service for my stakeholder. More than 80% what we do today as procurement, it can be done as a self-service with our stakeholders.
Correct. Good question. Good question. Thank you. Anurag, we move to you.
Thank you, Salman.
Thank you, Salman.
Thank you, Dr. Arafat. This is Anurag. I have only one question, that how can we building the relationship with our stakeholders, as well as what is the good practice for negotiation?
What is the good practice for? Say it again.
Negotiation.
Sorry, I can't follow.
Negotiation.
Innovation.
Negotiation.
Negotiation. Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
how we build a relationship with our stakeholders, and what are the some advice on negotiation? Okay, great. Then we move to Juan after that. Okay, yeah, please go ahead, Dr. Arafat.
Okay. Yep. It's a great question, Orange. If we look at the stakeholder, how you build a relationship. Build a relationship, you have to understand your stakeholders. It's very simple. If you understand your stakeholder, you will build a good relationship. I'm not talking about understand their business. I'm talking understand them. So first, you have to understand them. Second, you have to listen to them, what exactly their pain point. I never create a strategy or a plan. Whenever I go to any organization, I sit with my stakeholder. I tell them, tell me, what's your challenges? How I can help you? How I can do things better? How I can improve myself? I'm talking about this the first day. I meet every single stakeholder within the organization. Then I collect all the data from them. I meet my team and I collect all the data, all the challenges that they face. Then I start building the right plan with my stakeholder and with my internal team. How I do it, I ask them to meet for example, whenever I join an organization, every 2 weeks I meet all my C-level and I collect all the data. Then I came to them with a solution. If they like the solution, they will tell me the solution is amazing. Let's go proceed with this. Every time I create a plan and I share it with my stakeholder, they tell me it's amazing. Let's go and proceed with it. I have one of the guys, I believe anyone works for a bank or any organization or fit out. We have a lot of challenges. You know, in the mall, when you work for any organization, especially bank, in the mall, you have a penalty. If you rent a place, you have to open it within 6 months. If you don't open it within a 6 month, they will apply penalty on you because it not open the branch within the time that is allowed. So what they do, they apply penalty. I had one of my stakeholders, they said that we paid 3 million dirhams just penalty for one of the mall because we were late in delivering the fit out. I told them I can deliver you the project within 15 days. You have to give me about 3 months now, and after that will be 15 days. The guy left, he was the 𝐥𝐤, and he's one of the 𝐥𝐤 for the biggest bank. I told him I will reduce the turnaround time. I will improve the financial. It will be standardized, and at the same time, I will deliver for you the project within 15 days. And till today, the bank that I work for, till today, the fit out project is delivered within 15 days, end-to-end, including the contract sign-off. So today it depends how you build the relationship, understand the business, and understand your stakeholder, and then build the relationship, that trust. Once you deliver as per your promise, they will trust you, and you will be spoken in the C-level and board level. So this is how you build the relationship, by really delivering the value, by understanding, listening first. You cannot deliver without listening. You cannot tell them, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 without understanding the challenges and the problem that they are facing. Hope I answered your question, Anuraj.
Cool. Thank you very much. Now we have Juan, my good friend. I think we should. I introduced both of you at some point, but yes, Juan, go far away. Your
Yes,
question.
Juan.
Yes, hi, Arafat. Thank you, Mudasir.
Hi, Juan. How are you?
I have fine. Thank you so much. I have a tricky question. I'm not right now in the procurement arena professionally. I'm more in logistics, but in the end, logistics, we're a supplier. I mean, you supply transport, you supply a service. What would be, you already answered about this, but what do you think it would be the mindset this year in terms of disruption, in supply disruption, taking into account COVID may be rising and the Ukraine conflict? In terms of, supply and suppliers and maybe, I don't know, contingency plans, what do you think it might be the mindset in against disruption this year?
It's a good question, Juan. Juan, I will tell you something that what I've done in 2019. I didn't know that Corona is coming or COVID-19 coming in 2020, but I was planning for the recession in 2020. So in order to plan for the recession, what I've done, I had for every single big project or big suppliers, I have alternative. I have a backup supplier. So whenever I go for a committee for approval, I create a backup supplier, minimum 1 or 2 additional. So in case the first fail, I have the second and the third to deliver the same value. And we created an agreement without any obligation. So the most important obligation, because many suppliers, they will ask for obligation to spend with them. So I created all the agreement without obligation. The saving for the bank in 2020, it was more than 180 million dirhams because of the way we created the contract. You remember, because we have closed for almost 3 months. So the security guard, office helper, cleaners, all of that were not working. So we did not pay for that. Nothing, zero. However, we pay some compensation for these companies as a goodwill from the organization, but not as an obligation. So this is the way we create it. Always we have a backup plan in case that I'm talking about, again, strategic supplier. I'm not talking about all suppliers. I don't need it for all suppliers. I need it for strategic one. Strategic one for any organization, it's maximum between 10 to 20. You will not need more than that. So we create a backup for this supplier. Today, I will tell you about big four. You have KPMG, you have PwC, you have Deloitte, you have Ernst & Young, you have Thomson Reuters, you have, Tower Watsons, you have McKinsey, you have Booz & Allen. You have many of this. You can create 3, 4 to deliver, for example, the scope of work, and you can agree on hourly base. You know the scope that happened for the last 10 years or 5 years or 3 years. Whatever you happen in the 3 years, you can create an agreement with them. We call it Master Framework Agreement, and we standardize it for these companies that will pay for example, project manager will pay $600 per day, and for the partner, 1,000. For a senior partner, 1,200, and it's reflected on all the agreement with all the suppliers. Not one has higher than the other, except the niche company, what we call a boutique. Like some company, they are only specialized with X or Y or Z. So this is the way how we created, and really it was amazing value, and we did not have any disruption within the organization. You will have a disruption with one thing. For example, if you have ERP Oracle, if Oracle fails, the whole organization will fail. For example, I'm giving just an example as ERP system, because the general ledger, all the financial within the same system. So you cannot have a backup for it. So this is the only thing that you might not have a backup, but for everything else, you can have a backup.
Got it. Thank you so much, Arafat. Very good.
Thank you.
That's good. Thank you. Very, very good explanation, Dr. Arafat. Now we got a very interesting question from Ishwar. Hello, Ishwar. Do you want to ask your question, please? I think, yeah, go ahead. Anyway, so I'm not sure he's here or not. Let me ask what he said.
I'm here. I'm trying to unmute myself.
Okay, finally successful, right? It's a hard work to unmute sometimes. All right.
Technological challenges.
Yes, go ahead.
Anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Mudassir. Salam alaikum, Dr. Arafat. My question is, in a non-profit making organization where, there is an unlimited budget which is available, and stakeholders' attitudes is, to procrastinate the requirements until the last minute and utilize the budgets when it comes at the year end without even sharing, their annual plans. They don't give their annual plans. So how do we actually tackle these kind of situations?
This is a very
Hi,
good
Ishwar.
question.
Yes,
Very good question.
Ishwar, this amazing question, but I blame procurement before anything else. Procurement, if they have a good relationship with the CFO, I'm talking about CFO, not only stakeholder, because all the budget is approved by CFO. CFO is taking it to the board of director for approval, along with the stakeholders. So the finance, they have the leverage to share the end-to-end plan for the whole year. Okay, if you have a good relationship with finance, I'm talking about every single stakeholder. You should have a good relationship with every single stakeholder within the organization. However, I'm saying even if you have no good relation with all the stakeholder, if you have it only with finance, you can have the demand ahead of time. Most of the stakeholder, they will ask you to spend the money. If they do not spend the money within the last 2-3 months for the year end, they will not receive a budget for the year after, because they will be blamed that why you did not spend the budget. And it's not only for nonprofit organization, even for government and private sector, it's the same. Now everyone implementing the same things. You will face a lot of challenges with this, because if you even don't spend that, they will blame you on this, and they will blame you because they do not have the budget and they are not able to deliver the project. So you have to try to build a good relationship with them. That's why we talk about stakeholder management. Really is the most important to deliver any value for any organization, is how you manage your relationship within the organization and outside with your supplier, because you need both of them. Without supplier, you have nothing, because supplier is delivering all your project. It's not your stakeholders. And stakeholder satisfaction, it depends heavily on your suppliers, on their deliverables. So you need to build a good relationship with the stakeholder, internal one, and with a connected one is a supplier. So this is how you can avoid these challenges. Still, you will have maybe 5% that they might come at the end of the year. You have to value this. Do you need to fight this battle or not? If it's not something really that important, let it go. Don't stop it. If it's something big, yes, stop it. But something really small, do not fight this battle. You have many battles during the year to fight it. So you have to choose the right battle to fight. So this is the way how you have to prioritize. Even in this, you have to prioritize. And as I mentioned earlier, 80%, I'm talking, even if it could be even more, 80% of the demand approved on December or January. All the demand within any organization, private, non-profit, profit organization, government, non-government sector, all of it. It will be approved by December or January. So build a good relationship with your CFO and with your stakeholder to receive the demand ahead of time.
Yeah, as one of my boss used to say, pick your battles accordingly. You can't win everyone, right? So that's a very, very great saying. Thank you. Actually very good question, a very good answer for that. Now we got Ahmed Aldeep. Is also a follower of SCMDOJO. We have been connected. Is from Egypt. Hello, Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you doing?
Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic.
I have a quick question for Dr. Arafat about what advice does he have for procurement or supply chain professionals in general during especially the times of crisis? What happens is we usually face a lot of challenges when it comes to commodities. I work in the food business, for example. So commodities being each commodity has a different cycle. There are problems facing the commodities all over the world. The problem is a lot of procurement professionals will stay work from the office. They don't really know their supplier capabilities. They don't know their technology. They don't know what products, all the products that they provide. Sometimes they need to go visit the facilities. How do we become more aware and raise our awareness when it comes to supplier capabilities and commodities, and in terms, just so that we are ready for any crisis and that we have some financial visibility that we can pass on to our finance department, to our to our top management, so that we are ready for, for any price increases, we are ready for any promotions, we are ready, for this, so that we don't go give them the bad news that, hey, listen, we have a price increase. We want to let them know that there will be a price increase, for example, 2 months ahead, 3 months ahead, so that that we are ready with some safety stock, so that we are ready for whatever the crisis is,
Ahmed, it's a great question. But again, you have to treat supplier as an internal stakeholder. It's the same way. So how you treat supplier? I mean, to meet your strategic supplier. Today we are talking again. We are not talking about every supplier. I believe every organization, they have between 1,000 to 5, 7, 10,000 suppliers. I'm talking about strategic one that clearly might impact your business. As a food, for example, what supplier that might impact your business, and from price perspective and from deliverable perspective as a commodities. So you have to look at first at this supplier. Second, you have to visit them. You have to meet them every month. If they are strategic, it's a must. It's like you are meeting your internal stakeholder C-level. Minimum every month you need to meet the suppliers. I'm talking about in their places or at your place. So in their manufacturer, or in their industry, or in their offices, or at your office. You have to understand what they have and what new things that they might add value to your stakeholder. Sometimes there is many add value, even the price increase, but there is added value to this price increase. And then you calculate the price increase by the return on investment. So you can do that for the same, the return on investment on every single product that you purchase. It's not about today, it's about a year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. For example, for technology, we do it between 3 to 5 years. And in food, you can do it for a year, because you have the budget which is approved for a year, how much you're gonna spend and how much we're gonna sell the final product. So this is how you look at it from that perspective. So you need to meet supplier to understand them. And you have to have a backup supplier in place, Ahmed. It's a must to have some backup supplier, because if you have a backup supplier in place, the other supplier will not lift the prices. Second, you have to have a contingency plan. In the contingency plan, you add 15 to 20% as a budget. So you add it. Whenever they tell you, for example, the product cost is 1,000, add another 20%, 200, for example, in case you need it. You have to try to avoid the increase. But again, if you need it, sometimes you need it. Sometimes you need to execute it. So use it. At the end, you don't want to impact the end customer. You want to really deliver the best value. It's not about only internal stakeholder, about the product that delivered to your customer or company customers. So this is how you do it. So you have to have the backup. You have to meet your supplier to understand their capability and their capacity for delivering this product. You have to have a backup. If you can, you should have a backup on that. And third, you have to have a contingency plan. Contingency, I'm talking about price, in case of price increase, because you have to understand that this year we are expecting a recession. So we finished pandemic, we are expecting recession. If you look at the central bank, the international central bank increased the interest by 75 points. 75 points, for example, if your interest on mortgage or on personal loan, 3.1, it will become 3.35. So this is the 0.75 point. You have the what they call it, the IBOR and LIBOR increase for the mortgage. So bank-to-bank lending, this increased by 25%. So it means if the mortgage is 3.25, it becomes almost 3.8 to 3.9. Then you have, for example, in UAE, if you are in UAE, the Central Bank of UAE increased another 75 points. So it becomes now 4.2. So imagine the increase. I'm talking about just the interest itself. So imagine the impact on every single business, not only on you, and every single business within the market. That's what we call the external stakeholder, which is the law, the central bank, the related to the rate increase, related to any law that within the country that, for example, in UAE, there is another 9% of taxation will be implemented in June 2023. So again, you have to calculate that. So this is how you look at it from every single aspect. I hope I answered the question, Ahmed.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Right, so we got, I think we are entering into last. First of all, I want to congratulate Dr. Arafat, because we have 35 people when we started and we still got 32 left, right? So you must be very engaging. You are very engaging. That's why, otherwise generally after half an hour, people start dropping, right? So congratulations for a high, let's call it, engagement rate, because that's, I'll tell you this, that's very impossible to achieve that. Almost everybody stayed for that long, and now we are moving towards more questions. This is a very last question we're going to take. And before we have a final thought from Dr. Arafat, and it's a very relevant question. Ishwar, you want to ask yourself, or I'll ask on your behalf? Ishwar?
Please proceed, sir. No problem. Please.
All right. So Ishwar is asking, what kind of skills do you recommend for aspiring professionals to, professionals to basically experience a career progression? Basically, top 3 tips how somebody can become you, basically.
Okay. For me, education is a must because this is your knowledge and you need the experience. So knowledge never stops. I finished my doctorate in 2017. I've done after that more than 25 different subjects. I'm not talking about, I'm missing one subject that I need to do it is CFA. This is the only one within my career development that I miss today. Despite I've already taken the accounting 1 and 2 in my master degree, but still I need to do the CFA minimum level 1. I'm not talking about 3 levels. So you have to look at everything that within the organization. EFQM, one of the really nice things that to learn about. EFQM, European Qualification for Quality Management. Just read about it. It will help you in your objective to deliver the best value for your organization or for your stakeholders. Second thing, for example, Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply. It's a one of the best certification worldwide, and it's a must requirement for any government. I'm not talking about only UAE. I'm talking about the Gulf region, even in Europe. So it's a must certification, SIPS, which is the member of Chartered Institute or a fellow. Then you have the other certification for supply chain, which is one of the best. It's under the American Association for Procurement, which is one of the best for the supply chain. But they do not have for corporate, they have for individuals. So you have many certifications that you can look at it. Then you have to look at your business. You want to be qualified in technology. So look at something related to AI, artificial intelligence, agile, because whatever agile in technology, you can apply it, the agile in procurement. So did the thing that you look at it from different perspective. So I'm giving you just different things that you can do that to really enhance your career or to improve your career development, or you can put a plan for career development. It's not about, I'm talking about you have to do a master degree or PhD. If you can do it, do it. But if you cannot do it, just do this subject. This subject, it will help you a lot in your career development because this is a must things that needed within the region.
Great answer, but I'm a bit hurt. You haven't mentioned SCMDOJO courses as a must-have certification and the tool, right? I think in your future talks you should mention us as with SIPS and ASM, right? Anyway, it's okay.
No, because you give all this subject. No, Dr. That's it. This subject you give it anyway. But I'm talking about certification, approved certification, which is recognized worldwide. For example, today, if you want to apply for any government entity, they will ask you have to be a SIPS member. Minimum.
We are not
talking about the region.
We are not there.
You don't have it that.
Yeah, we don't have it.
But inshallah, you will have it in the future.
Inshallah.
You have the best subject, the best courses, but again, we need the certification that's recognized within the government entity.
I appreciate your honesty. That's very good. Thank you very much. So, guys, I've got a hard stop at 8. I'm really sorry we won't be able to take all the courses, questions. I know some more questions coming in from risk management, few others. I think as you can see, Dr. Arafat is highly engaging, and whenever he's going to have time next, we will definitely have him on our webinar again. So for now, I just want to say thank you very much for Dr. Arafat for being with us. I want to say thank you to all of you. As I said, 35 plus people stay for that long is amazing. This video, which we are recording, it will be available on our SCMDOJO YouTube channel. I've shared the link on the chat. I'll share it again. Go and subscribe. So this video will be available to follow. And before we go, Dr. Arafat, final thoughts, please.
Thank you, Dr. Mudassir. And just I would like to tell everyone, again, you have courses which is approved by the government entity, or you have the courses that can lift you. You can learn a lot. For example, if you see this session that done with Dr. Mudassir, watch stakeholder management. One of the, again, I've done with Dr. Mudassir. You have many other, again, engagement courses, or we can call it session or episodes, which helps really a lot in order to change your mindset. Guys, today I have told in the last session that I learned a lot in my life. However, today I'm unlearning whatever I learned earlier. So whatever you learn 2 years or 10 years back, it doesn't apply today. So you have to unlearn it and learn new things. And there is many things that you can learn from Dr. Mudassir, from your colleague, from your kids, from your family members, and you can apply it at work, not only in life. That's it. Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Take care. I wish you all a great week ahead and take care. Thank you for watching. Stay in touch. Assalamu alaikum. Ciao.
Thank you. Salam.
Thank you.